Okay.
So the thing is that there is on the internet there are hundreds of websites which speak about covert harassment, target visuals, gang stalking. But many of these websites are just spreading misinformation. They are not giving specific information.
Oh, like
so
they're crazy
in general. No, I can't conclude that because I don't know who created that website. But
So he's now started to drive at craziness of it all, and he is not listening to anything very carefully. So he's just the thing that is going on in his mind is that he has to emphasize the craziness of it. So whatever I say from this point onwards, he is just not listening. So he's not a very good listener. For a philosopher, I would think that for a philosopher, that's not a very good thing if he's not a good listener. Maybe he's giving me special treatment, and I've reflected on this obviously, and I think that he is giving me special treatment, and I would obviously I'd love to find out what's the reason for that, because I just called in like anybody else called in. So now he started to insert out of nowhere things like crazy. So he just inserted the term crazy, and this will keep going on. There's another hour of conversation left.
What I can say from my personal experience, I know what I'm into, I know what the truth is as far as I'm concerned.
So I dodged this. So he inserted crazy, and I did not say no or yes, because I can't say about other people what website they've created. But I explained that what might be happening with these websites. So many of these websites are created by these harassment agencies themselves. So they obviously want to muddy the waters. So they put some truth in it and put a lot of falsehoods in it, and quite a bit of craziness in those websites. So it all becomes very confusing, and so I don't say yes or no to whether these websites are crazy. I mean, that's whoever looks at them, they can make their own judgment about that. But they are fake. Many of these websites are fake.
So many of these websites actually seem to be operated by these very harassment agencies.
Oh, so the covert harassment people set up websites complaining about covert harassment?
Yes, complaining and spreading misinformation, and thereby the intention is to not degrade but denigrate the individuals who are complaining about this.
Yeah, no, it's kind of like the flat earth people say
So-
that there's flat earth misinfo, disinfo people, and so on, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So, hang on.
So, it's
So
kind of
how do you know the
yeah.
difference between genuine covert harassment websites and disinformation covert harassment websites?
So he's here mocking the concept that there might be some websites which are spreading misinformation about this type of harassment, and he seems genuinely baffled by this, which is I would say a little bit strange. When the harassment is covert, then and as he mentions a little later in the conversation that there's a lot of money involved, so he knows that. I didn't tell him that so why would it be so strange that uh, this harassment operators might have created some misinformation websites, when according to him, the whole of mainstream media is spreading misinformation all the time. So if the whole of mainstream media, except maybe Fox News and maybe alternative media, uh, individuals like Stefan himself and Alex Jones and a few others, except these few people, if the whole of mainstream media could be spreading misinformation and lies and fabrications, so why not this um, harassment network, if it exists, which he doesn't believe it exists, but some people are complaining that it exists. So why would they be unable to? Why would they be incapable of trying to spread misinformation by creating some website? Is Stefan not thinking? From listening to his podcast, one would imagine that he is a person who thinks carefully about the issues that he examines. But here it seems like whatever he has learned in the past, like the mass, widespread campaigns of disinformation, but he somehow he cannot grasp that some misinformation might be happening in the context of this harassment, which is covert, not explicit at all. That's I would say that's pretty strange.
Well, because okay, so there are a few things that a person who is not being covertly harassed can use. Like if it is a very polished website and it speaks about the injustice of it, it speaks about the evil of it, but does not give any specific information that how we can avoid it, what exactly it is.
But have you found anyone who can reliably tell you how to avoid it? I mean, I assume you're calling to me, Sanjay, because you haven't found anyone who can help you to avoid it.
Exactly.
Right. So saying, well, it's not real if they don't tell you how to avoid it, while at the same time saying no one knows how to avoid it, that doesn't make sense. And I'm simply holding you to your own standard where you say you're too rational to believe in ghosts, right? You understand that there's no disproof there, right?
No, I didn't understand your point there.
Oh, sure. So if you say, well, it's not a real covert harassment website if it doesn't tell you how to avoid it, while at the same time saying you've never found anyone who knows how to avoid it, then none of them can be real websites, right?
No, I didn't say that if it doesn't tell you how to avoid it, it's not a genuine website about covert harassment. I said that they don't speak about the specifics. So I think he's again mangling what he was hearing, and he is trying to find out or trying to make me admit that there is a little bit of lack of logic or lack of reasoning in what I'm saying. But he's using something which I did not say as a means of proving that what I'm saying is not wholly logical. So he's using these tactics. Now it's difficult to say unless you go through the whole conversation and unless you analyze it, why he would do that. So one, he's using his own assumption or he's even modifying what I'm saying in a way that makes what I'm saying sound illogical. So why he would go to that extent is not very clear, but it becomes clear once you reach the end of the conversation, because from the beginning he's driving towards that conclusion, and so everything he's doing for the last half an hour and up to the end of the conversation is driving towards filtering what I'm saying, or mangling what I'm saying, to help him get a basis for the conclusion that he's going to draw at the end. And why he will go to that extent is not very clear at this point of time of conversation, but it becomes a little bit more clear towards the end, I think. And so he will repeat this a few more times, and he has already done it a few times. So why would the person who claims to be firmly focused on reasoning, who respects the power of reasoning, who respects the power of argument, who claims not to be a bigot, who claims not to be swayed by feelings and baseless assumptions or presumptions, why would a person like that, like Stefan, would want to listen to something and then change it and try to present it in a different way by rephrasing it, and thereby showing that that is something that is not making sense. So he's playing this game, I would say, and to me, at least, I'm also going through this. I'm going through this discomfort at this point of time, and my heart rate is high, and my breathing is shallow, and I'm having difficulty speaking, and I'm walking around as well. So to me, at this point of time, it's not very clear. But he is doing these kind of conversations every week, and he speaks for hours on YouTube and on his podcast. And he's a very articulate person. He comes across very clear. He knows what he's speaking about. Sometimes he comes across as very passionate about what he believes in, and he claims that he's for truth, and he's only the truth is gonna help the humanity escape the disaster of hardship and evil. Why would he be twisting what I'm saying into something which does not sound credible at all? It's a little bit strange, I would say.
Things like, injustice of it, the evil of it, and the government is involved in it, the government is doing it, and security agencies are doing it, but they don't specifically speak about what are the components. And this, in my personal experience, this code harassment is very, very comprehensive, highly professional, highly organized. It's a comprehensive harassment regime which consists of more than 30, 40 types of harassments with different more than 30, 40 types of techniques, which include noises and light energy devices. And it's a very, very comprehensive regime. And so none of the websites actually speak about that. Most of the websites speak about how hard their life has become, or how harmful this is, and how evil it is, and how government is involved, but they don't talk about the specifics.
All right. So what's happened over the last couple of years?
yeah, last couple of years, bunch of things have happened.
So here I was starting to explain why many of the websites which speak about covert harassment are not to be relied upon, and why I believe that those websites are actually created by the same harassment agencies which are perpetrating this type of harassment. And I described that a little bit, and then he did not seem to be interested in acknowledging that or in following up on that. So that tells me that the reason that I provided was sufficiently credible, and since Stefan is not looking to take the conversation along the lines which makes this assertion of mine of covert harassment more credible, so he immediately cuts it off and he moves on to the next or rather different line of conversation immediately.